Hello, my beautiful spirit familia. Coming on a walk, and you're coming with me. And we're gonna do what we do. Say thank you to the tree. Grab one of these leaves. Crush them up and smell them. I'm making that just a little tradition when I remember, when it feels good in the moment with these walks. So for those of you who are new here, I'm Estefania, Steph, and this channel's name is Spirit Led Steph because I'm showing up here to be led by the Spirit, to speak what's true to my heart, to be authentic, to lead with love, and to ultimately unbox. I want to walk this way. I'm feeling to do that. And to ultimately unbox all these ideas, these religious concepts that we have around God, around Jesus, around love, and around ourselves, because they are all interconnected. And so my spiritual awakening had very much to do with unboxing those ideas and being revealed completely new ideas about who Jesus was and who God was. And by reclaiming those and re-understanding those, and I understand now, I couldn't, explain it like this before, but the Spirit came upon me when I was finally open and I humbled myself in my heart to let go of the past concepts and ideas that I had about who God was and ultimately who Jesus was, and just let go of the religious concepts, the institutions and the teachings that came from those institutions, even from parents, even from just all areas, exes, boyfriends, all the people who can influence you and how you think about the world and the ideas in the world. Let it all go and come into your own heart, and ask yourself, what do I believe about this? What do I know from my personal experience? Not from the spirit experience of others, not from what other people have translated of someone's word, but rather, what have I experienced of this word? What have I experienced in my life when I'm in nature? What have I experienced when I'm around children? Whatever it is, when I'm making music, whatever it is, sometimes there are certain things that will give us a deep connection to ourselves and the world around us. And those are spiritual experiences or potential spiritual experiences. They are gateways. For those who don't know and haven't watched other videos, and some maybe have watched some videos, I was a professional musician, singer, songwriter, performer, the whole thing, trying to get out in the world and shine like a star and do the international thing. That's where I was on my way. And then I stopped because I knew I was unfulfilled. Something in me felt like a hamster in a wheel after I started actually to release my own songs and put it all out, and it just made me question everything I thought about my dream of being a star, being a musician, of a performer, a singer-songwriter, a musical artist, international artist, I questioned everything. And that questioning led me to humility, to saying, I don't know. Everything I've done has led me up until this point. So now I surrender. I don't even know what I'm surrendering to, but I surrender. And so this video, I'm feeling a lot to talk about trusting our process as we're awakening, as we feel the call to find out what God is, what love is beyond romantic relationships, right? Like, who am I truly, beyond my job, beyond my family, beyond the things I'm capable and my gifts? Who am I ultimately, in the most essential sense? This is such a beautiful question, very deep. And as I asked that question, it said 444 on the clock. I've been really seeing that number a lot, but anyhow, yeah. And so I'm coming to share this because I saw this post I did a long time ago, realized it was almost 5 years ago, which is when I had my awakening at the end of 2020 into 2021. And I posted something that I knew deep in my heart was true, but I hadn't felt what it was saying. Like I hadn't embodied what it was saying. I hadn't felt it yet. And today I can say that I feel it. And it's just so incredible. And this is what it said. Your soul's purpose is just waiting on your courage to catch up. Say it again. Your soul's purpose is just waiting on your courage to catch up. How beautiful is that? And so today I feel it. 555. I feel it. I can feel that courage is now like embodied in me. I have no fear to show up as I am. This is part of the channel too, right? Just showing up as I am so that others can show up as they are. If this is your permission slip, no, let me rephrase this. Take this as your permission slip to show up as you are. Let's show up as we are together. Here, if this is what calls, right? YouTube channel. If not, at home. I have a video where I specifically talk about how authenticity is really the key to freedom on this path of figuring out what life is all about, of awakening to ourselves and to God. Because ultimately, if you're doing one, if you're truly awakening to God and God's love, you are awakening to who you truly are. And vice versa. If you're awakening to who you truly are, you are bound to find God. Because they are both one in the same. They are made of the same. They are one, right? This is all about final union, ultimate union, which is who we are with our creator, our father, mother, right? No gender, this ultimate abstract light love form that we are limited to understanding because we have bodies and brains, and so this third dimension reality, which is a quote unquote reality, right, doesn't truly allow us to fully explain it. It is limited in form to explain what is unexplainable, right? Like love, like God, one and the same, right? God, love, one and the same. And so this is my video to just remind you to trust the process, because I am now on the other side of that courage that I was so seeking 4 years ago, and that I knew was on its way to me in some way, in some intuitive sense. Spirit was showing me, because I read those words and I was like, oh my God, this is so true. Your soul's purpose is just waiting on your courage to catch up. And now, do I think this will be my soul's purpose forever, showing up on YouTube? Probably not. But I am stepping into true authenticity, the true version of me that is showing up right now, that is needed right now, that is most helpful right now for the healing of myself, my own mind, my heart, and therefore also all those who I come in contact with. And so this is the invite to do that more, to be yourself more, and at the same time trust the process. You know, the days go like this. The cycle of awakening is like this, right? A lot of things will come up, and we have to be true to those emotions. We got to let them move through us. If we avoid them, if we put them and stick them under the rug, we don't heal them. And we are here to heal. We are here to awaken. Even if we don't believe in God, even if we don't, I'm seeing a beautiful, here, let's see if you guys can see it. Where'd she go? Oh, she's up there. Monarch butterfly. Orange and black. And so, yes, like, let me gather my thoughts. This is what happens. I feel so connected to nature since I had my awakening. Like, really, I feel like my hearing, my vision just became more amplified. This was even more evident right after my awakening. There she is. Even right after my awakening, like the next couple months into the year, right? Like, I could see at a distance. I could spot owls. I could spot hawks like perched in a tree that nobody else could spot. I could hear the birds. I could hear sounds that I was just so attuned to everything around me. And it's changed my life forever to be so connected to nature in this way. And it was nothing that I did on purpose or went out looking for. It was just me being willing to learn about who I am and who God is. And then everything else changed. Also, my relationship to kids, like just children. I am not intimidated to be in a room with 10 kids, 12, 20 kids, little kids, I mean, I guess that's also the mother in me, but it was like, even then, like, it's still a lot. And it was just like, no, I welcome all of this. There was no fear. So yeah, that's a little bit of side note, just so you understand like the depth of the connection that this brought me to everything. And so now I'm here, right? Almost 5 years later. Wait, 21, 25, 4 years later. And I can feel how the courage is here, how the fearlessness is here. And I gave myself grace, and I never pushed to be something I wasn't in any given moment. And every step was beautiful and helpful. I didn't even see them as steps as anything. Maybe that's the thing. I just lived for what was in front of me. And now I can just look back and be grateful because I can see where this was leading me. And even now, today, I cannot see what's going to lead me in 3 months or where it'll lead me in a year. And I'm not concerned with that truly, because to be led by the Spirit is not future and is not past. It's actually releasing both of those. It is being here. It is gratitude here. It is openness now. It is releasing past concepts. It is seeing my brother and my sister and those in front of me and those who come up in my mind as the Christ that they truly are. Children of God, children of light, that I know I am now. And by knowing that, I can see it and attest to it in others, even, especially when they can't see it in themselves. That's okay. They don't need to. Also, I don't need to prove it to them. That's not what I'm here to do. I'm here to hold my internal posture and heart and shine my light and be who I am towards them. That may be with a conversation. It may not. Like, okay, it's whatever is called for in the moment. That's the beauty of being led, right? Like, you're not controlling this stuff. You're not planning it. You're like part of the whole dance. You're part of the whole symphony of how everything plays together. And it's just so beautiful. And joining you here as I walk in nature just really connects me with that feeling, and it inspires me deeply, and it makes me feel gratitude right now for every single one of you, for whoever shows up and sees this video, whether now when I post it or 5 years from now. It's timeless. These things are timeless. Everything that's in the mind is just in the moment, and it is received in the energy and frequency and the readiness for each viewer and every person that needs to receive it when it's time. And that's it, right? Like, we'll only receive from where we're at. We don't have to fight it or change it or try to fix it or better it. We do, of course, if we have the desire in our heart to really awaken, right? And to be truthful, have a meaningful life, feel joy, real peace, then we'd start to do the practices that bring that to life, right? We start to show up for ourselves. We start to fill our cup. We start to be more authentic in our relationships, in our exchanges. All of that adds to us having a more joyful, meaningful, blissful life, which is a life, for me, and in my opinion, is a life directly connected to God, directly connected to love, with love at the center, with God at the center. Letting it lead our way The ego's story is always control, figure it out, do, struggle, hustle. We're not here to hustle. We're here to trust. That's what I'm here to do. That's what I've given myself over. And part of this is also, for example, not coming on here and ending up doing like a full edit and all this stuff. Like, oh my God, big love and just like respect for YouTubers who go all out and, you know, put in the editing time and all that stuff. I know that would impede me from showing up here because I am a single mom. I have a lot of things I'm doing. I have different jobs. I'm doing this. I'm also studying, you know, and I am showing up more and more in the spiritual spaces, facilitating a Course in Miracles group, hopefully more. I join other people's groups, you know, like on the level of form, I'm doing a lot. And this weekend I moved, by the way. That in itself is a story. If you're new here, that in itself is a story in another video. About like me trusting the whole process of finding, you know, spirit leading me to the next home, to the next place that me and my daughter are going to move into. And so, yeah, this video is really bringing it back to trust. Trust the process. You don't need to know what it's going to look like. The next step, the next most helpful, most loving, most exciting step. You know, it could be either or. It's like a little spectrum, but that is what's guiding you. That's what's pushing you. And that's what's pushing me. Like naturally, right? It's like an impulse. It's just naturally pushing me in that direction. And it's so beautiful to be able to witness that trajectory and yet not get caught up there, right? Like this is where I am right now. And I'm like, wow, courage is here. Fearlessness is here. And not because I forced it upon myself in any way, but because I trusted, because I just did the next thing. I didn't get caught up in the future and, you know, figuring out what this was going to be. Actually, the moment I did, I had to stop. Listen to this. In 2021, I started receiving revelations and writings and journalings, insights that I knew were not mine. This was right after, like, this is during my awakening, but like right after, you know, a very spiritual, mystical experience that I had, a vision, and different things that were huge confirmations of what I was starting to step into and that I humbled myself to go into. And I was like, wow. So in this, I start receiving all these things and I start writing and writing. I'm talking about like months and months, 3, 4, 5, into 8 months of writings that I never would have done myself. Like the most I've ever written is like songwriting, you know, or like a report for school and stuff. So I knew this is what the Spirit does. It uses you in a way that you didn't know you were capable of being used. Because if it used you in a way that you know you're good at, for example, me, music has been my gift. It's been the way I've showed up in the world. If the Spirit had used me through music at that point, I could have believed it was me receiving that, right? Like my muse, maybe not connecting it to like anything more spiritual. My efforts. And this was not anything that I ever did, had an idea about wanting to do, right? Writing. So I knew, and the way it flowed through me, and I had an impulse. I could not write it down. I needed to write it down. I needed to, you know, like just let these ideas flow. And it was like automatic writing. And I was just being guided and I filled these journals. But then what happened? And I'm going back to the idea of like going into the future. And when we get stuck and we stop trusting the process, I started thinking like, oh my God, maybe I'm going to be a writer. Maybe this is what I'm going to do now. And I went from one box, which was being a musician, being a singer, songwriter, performer, you know, international star. There's a little zebra butterfly flew right by. So going from that to then now I'm like, that was one box and now I was ready to put myself in another box. It's like saying, I don't know, I'm an atheist and now I'm a Christian. And it's like, wait. The invitation is to take away the boxes. Yes, you're doing this. Yes, this is going through you. This is happening through you. But stop putting a label on it. Stop trying to figure out what it's going to make you be, how your identity is tied with it. And this is what the ego does. It latches on. It latches on to the things that are given to us. And then we believe that that's what we are and that's what's going to give us importance. It's like, no. And I knew after a while, because it was such grace and such flow, that when I started thinking about that stuff, I kind of lost flow, right? I started to think, oh, maybe I should take this course about book writing. And like, I just got caught up in the world and the selling and it wasn't intuitive anymore, right? Now there was like a plan behind it. And that's when I also knew, like, no, my plan is not my plan. I don't want it. Up until now, this has all been my plan, or what I've felt has been my plan, right? The musician, the performer, all of it. It's been my plan, including the yoga teacher, everything. Well, to a sort of extent, I didn't plan to become a yoga teacher, but let's say the classes and showing up and finding the jobs and the whole thing. It was still part of the plan that my image, right? My identity in the world. And I'm trying to step away from that. I could feel the freedom that I did when I stepped away, when I stopped my socials, when I stopped being that performer and artist to the world and even to myself. It was like a weight was lifted from me. And here I am trying to put myself in another box and add a different weight. Like, how does that make sense? And so I got caught up in that for a little bit. Yes, I got caught up in that for a little bit. But what happened? Within enough time, because I was in such grace, because I had felt the contrast of that experience so deeply, I knew that this was not the answer. Some of these things were nice to discover about myself, to open myself up to books and things, but it wasn't about me figuring out who I was going to be. And so I had to release it. I let it all go. And I remember saying, God, Spirit, Jesus, if this is for me, then you show me. You make it obvious. That's the beautiful words of a wonderful brother in Christ and teacher, David Hoffmeister. He always says, ask the Spirit to make it obvious. And that's it. Make it obvious to me. You be in charge. I'm not going to go by my idea, by my plan. I will know by the motivation in me, by the inspiration, maybe by someone who walks into my life and asks about a book, whatever it is. Like, I will know. And I trust that I will know the moment that if it is for me to write this book, if it is for me to put out these writings, and I will do it. I will follow. But I'd rather it be that way. I mean, who doesn't love surprises, right? And living a life led by the Spirit for me is a life of surprise. Is a life of letting yourself be surprised again and again and again. Spirit, you surprise me. You lead the way. And so that's the invitation here. When we say trust the process, is also saying, you lead. I put my hands up here. I'll do my part. I'll do my practices. I'll do the things that fill my cup today. I'll be authentic today, right? I'll make sure I find union, do the things that help me come back to center, come back to truth, come back to you today. And, as I feel, connect with the people that fill my cup, whatever it is. Forgive where I need to forgive. Release things I need to release. Journal, all of that. But in the meantime, in the bigger picture, I trust. I trust and I know that it is a process. And I'm evidence of it. And like I said, I don't know what's going to come of this. But all I know is that I'm listening to my heart and I no longer feel the fear about showing up in this way. Yeah? This has been a very intimate choice between me and Spirit to come on YouTube and share like this and not worry about editing it and not doing all the things that would probably, not only sabotage me from going because I don't have that time at this point in my life, but also I would get caught up in trying to perfect it. And it's like, nope, I'm trying to be free. I'm trying to free myself of it. I'm trying to love myself within the freedom. And by doing it, I am loving myself. And I'm showing up for myself. And as I show up for myself, I show up for you guys, because we're all connected. We are all one. And when we witness each other, we inspire each other. That's just how it works. And so I hope this inspires you to trust your process and to know that things will unfold. And if you don't feel courage right now, your soul's purpose is waiting for that courage to catch up, and it will catch up. You do your part, which is the trusting, which is the handing over, which is the accepting of what is right now, as it is right now. Looking at your mind, stay watching, stay vigilant. Vigilant for what's coming up, but mainly vigilant for the truth, for what God is, for where love is, for where the Christ light is in all our brothers and sisters. That's what we truly stay vigilant for. But we can get blocked by the things in the mind, so it's also important to be aware, right? That's the mindfulness. That's our part. The rest, you let it be done through you, in you, around you. And just watch. Free yourself from having to know. And rest in that trust. It is what really strengthens our muscle of faith, of knowing that we're not alone, of knowing that there is more to this, to all of it, than ourselves, than our little body selves, right? Than our little egoic selves, than our little story of victimization and attack and defense and all of that, and proving. It's bigger. Make your trust bigger. Because you just never know where it's going to lead you. And I promise you that if you are handing it over, and it is a true desire of your heart to awaken, to love truly, to know, to have this meaningful, peaceful life, and to take the steps towards it, Spirit sees all of it. It is within all of it, right? It's like in the fabric of everything that we make, because it comes from our mind, and we are connected to Spirit directly through God. And so, Spirit's got you. If He's got me, He's got you. If she's got me, she's got you. She's taking care of everything. And that's how we trust the process. And that's how we let it unfold. And then that's how we can witness the miracles. We can witness the courage, the fearlessness, the things just taking shape and taking form, because we're listening, because we're doing our part. And under all of the little things that we do, the practices, the doing our part, right? The being authentic, there's this underlying level, foundational trust and faith in what is unfolding. And we rest there together. If this connects with you in any way, please let me know in the comments. If you've been going through something you feel, let me see, what's something that we could trust the process. I love it when other creators do this. Why don't you put a little shooting star? If you're here up until the end, share a shooting star with me and say, I trust. All right, love you all. Till next video. Bye.